Hello everybody. Tonight we're going to talk about 80s alternative club. We're going off of what I've got here in the collection. This is by no means a complete list of music. And this is from an American perspective in the Midwest. It might be different where you lived. If you're in Europe or if you're maybe on the East Coast or something, you may have had a different experience. But for me as a DJ and a club goer in the 80s, I'm going to show you some of the tracks that were hot here. Now, the reason this genre is such a hot mess is because there are some loose rules to it. When it comes to 80s alternative, the college radio stations used to classify this as music that is not on the top 40 charts. Well, when it came to club music, sometimes this stuff was on the charts. Sometimes this stuff was pop music. Sometimes it was dance music. It was catering to a lot of people. You were playing music for the goth kids, the art kids, the smart kids, the gay kids. They were all going to the alternative nights at the clubs around here. So there was a pretty broad range of musical styles that were played on alternative nights. Let's start off with this one right here. This is Arcadia with Election Day. Arcadia is kind of the ultra emo goth version of Duran Duran. Simon Le Bon and Nick Rhodes at their most alternative, I guess. This was a hot track on alternative nights. This is kind of electronic house industrial stuff. This is Baby Ford. This track is called Children of the Revolution. It was really big here, probably because it's a Violent Femmes remake and this is Milwaukee. But yeah, cool tune. If you've never heard it, check it out. Baby Ford with Children of the Revolution. Berlin. Yeah, kind of synth-pop stuff. This was really hot for alternative nights. This particular track is Sex. I'm a Man. The Metro was also a big one. They didn't do like No More Words and Take My Breath Away on alternative club nights, but they did these tracks. Blondie and Rapture. Yeah, it's an older track. It's got a rap in it, but this resonated well with the alternative crowd. CCCP, American Soviets, the Cameron Paul remix. You heard this at several different club nights. You know, maybe it was a regular club night, you might hear this track, but it was hot. This is a cool tune. Check it out. The Cameron Paul remix just brings it to the next level. That was really popular here in America. We lost Cameron Paul earlier this year. The Clash. Should I Stay or Should I Go? Rock the Cash Bar, Overpowered by Funk. These were songs that you heard on alternative nights. This was a big one. The Cult with She Sells Sanctuary. This was a staple. And the other big one was Firewoman. But this one, you know, if I walked into an alternative night at a club today, I might expect to still hear this. Like those retro alternative nights that they have. The Cure. This is Love Song. But, you know, anything Cure. Even stuff off of Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, which was the pop album. Huge on alternative nights. The Cure is like an alternative act for that crowd. Just like Heaven, Why Can't I Be You? Hot, hot, hot. Let's Go to Bed. I heard this one an awful lot. This is a good tune. Dead or Alive. It's more than just You Spin Me Round, although that track was popular. This is their version of That's the Way I Like It. It's a Casey and the Sunshine Band remake, and it's actually kind of a cool tune off their first album, Sophisticated Boom Boom. Something in My House. This was off of the Mad, Bad, and Dangerous to Know album. This was huge. There were others. A lot of songs. In Too Deep was big. Big Daddy the Rhythm got some play. A lot of songs by Dead or Alive did really well. D-Light with Groove Is in the Heart. This was great with college alternative crowds. The flip side of this was cool too. It's called What Is Love? And I bought 2 copies of this back in like 1989 when I was trying to learn how to beat juggle, and I still have them. This one is a different copy actually. My originals are back there. They're all beat up. But yeah, this is one I acquired recently out of Mike Guy's collection. Depeche Mode. This is just can't get enough. Very synth pop. This was big. But Depeche Mode did a lot of stuff. This one was also huge. Master and Servant. Huge on alternative nights. But you heard it, during other club nights too. People Are People. Probably one of their poppiest songs until the Violator album. Is this one right here, but yeah, big song. What's this one? Is this Strange Love? Yeah. Strange Love. Of course, Personal Jesus off the Violator album. 1989. Wonderful album. Policy of Truth was big. And the huge one that I still like to sneak into sets here and there is called Enjoy the Silence. If you don't know Depeche Mode's Enjoy the Silence, please look it up and give it a listen. It's a wonderful song. I played at mobile gigs once in a while, especially for like the educated crowds. Sometimes I'll do parties for people like college professors who are around my age. They eat this stuff up. Duran Duran. Yeah, it's a pop act. But this EP, Carnival, had songs on it like Hungry Like the Wolf, Rio, Planet Earth, and Girls on Film. Planet Earth and Girls on Film were staples on alternative night. Once in a while you might hear Hungry Like the Wolf or Rio, but yeah, definitely Planet Earth and Girls on Film was a big one. Here's EMF. The track is called Unbelievable. This actually hit the pop charts, but it did very well on alternative nights. Enigma, Sadness. Yeah, again, you heard it on the radio, but I don't know, it just pushed all the right buttons for college nights. Great tune. If you don't know this one, check it out. Sadness Part 1. It's kind of a, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Like an easy listening kind of thing? It's weird. They had this thing called Pure Moods. It had like Yanni and stuff on it. But yeah, Enigma. It's weird. I don't know. It's cool stuff. New Age, I guess. Like Enya, Sail Away kind of thing. Erasure. A lot of great tracks from this act. A Little Respect. Sometimes. Victim of Love. They were all huge on college night. Eurythmics. Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. Of course, this is a staple. But a lot of Eurythmics songs did well. Who's That Girl? Here Comes the Rain Again. What was the other one? Missionary Man. That was a big one. What do we have here? Oh, Falco. Rock Me Amadeus. This was huge. And the flip side of this is Vienna Calling. It got a little bit of play, but Rock Me Amadeus stuck around for a long time on those alternative college nights. Front 242 with Headhunter. Front 242 had a couple of songs, but Headhunter is the one that you want to check out for sure. This is kind of that industrial club stuff. I really enjoy this kind of stuff. Big on alternative nights. And regular nights. Peter Gabriel, he was just weird enough to be acceptable. And In Your Eyes was a big one. Shock the Monkey, Games Without Frontiers, they all got play, oddly enough. And if you couldn't dance to it, they did some kind of weird, like, thing to it at some of these college alternative 80s nights. Frankie Goes to Hollywood with Relax. Of course. Yeah, big pop song. Banned in the UK on the BBC, but they didn't ban it here anywhere. But this song got a lot of play in the clubs. I'm teasing Alex the Bubble with this because I've got a beautiful copy of Dare here. Human League. It doesn't matter what the Human League song was. It got played in alternative nights. It could be Don't You Want Me. It could be Keep Feeling Fascination. They all did very well. Billy Idol's White Wedding. Yeah, that's a big one too. Billy Idol was very acceptable. This album here, Don't Stop, this is an EP. It's got Dancing With Myself on it as well. And Moni Moni, which became a bar song. But when it first hit, this was very much something you'd hear on alternative nights. But, even, I don't know, some of his other stuff did really well. We talked about Information Society in the freestyle video, but they were very accepted with the alternative crowd. Pop kind of has freestyle elements to it, but they were just weird enough where the alternative crowd dug them too. for dancing, of course. Same thing with In Excess. Now, this is anything from stuff off a Listen Like Thieves to Kick, which was everything. Every song on this album was a hit. It was great. Not every song, but most of the songs on this album were hits. And then later on came Suicide Blonde. This was big on alternative nights. And I remember people singing to this one, singing along to the chorus and jumping around on alternative club nights. Disappear. Great song. And the last great In Excess song was Disappear. Now we get into kind of the trance stuff. JD Plastic Dreams. Yeah, Downtown. This got a lot of play on those gothy nights. Jesus Jones. They had a song called Right Here, Right Now. Another song called International Bright Young Thing that did very well. This one, Real, did pretty good too. I mean, it wasn't out for a long time, but for a hot minute, Jesus Jones was pretty hot. Joy Division. If you don't know Joy Division, I urge you to look them up. Look up the song Love Will Tear Us Apart. This is New Order before New Order. This was the first incarnation of that with the lead singer who killed himself, committed suicide. But yeah, Love Will Tear Us Apart is a big one on there. There's a lot of good songs from Joy Division to check out. But that was a big one on alternative nights. As was this. What Time Is Love? KLF. These folks are weird, but they have some pretty cool music. If you're not familiar with KLF, What Time Is Love, please give it a listen. Great tune. They had other songs, like 3 AM Eternal. That was a really popular song as well. You heard these at regular clubs too, but yeah, they worked on alternative nights. And this one here, Last Train to Trans Central. That was a big one too. There was another one called Justified and Ancient that actually got some play. Wasn't too bad. KMFDM, this is Jukebox Jezebel. The big one, to my recollection, was called More and Faster. That was the big KMFDM song at the club. Can, I Beg Your Pardon, Canadian Act. I don't know how many copies I have of this from all over the world. I got them from here, Germany, Canada, but I really like this song. Can, I Beg Your Pardon was big. This is Lords of Acid, Rough Sex, but this isn't the one that I heard a lot. The one I heard an awful lot was called I Sit on Acid. Look this one up. It was huge on alternative club nights. Lords of Acid, I Sit on Acid. Give it a listen. Yeah, Madness Our House. Playful, top 40. I don't know, it was accepted. They liked it. For some reason, every once in a while, Madonna was able to make an appearance, and it was okay. She wasn't, I don't know, she was very mainstream, like on top of the world, but certain Madonna songs did very well. Burning Up got played a lot. Vogue got played a whole bunch, along with Malcolm McLaren's Deep in Vogue for a little while. Then this one took over. And yeah, this one, Justify My Love, was also huge. Just huge on alternative nights when it hit. And yeah, again, very mainstream stuff, but it was accepted. I don't know why. There are no rules to this. I don't know why it was accepted or why they liked it. They just did, and it worked. So it's a hot mess in that regard, like I said. It's like this one, Mars Pump Up the Volume. This should be like breakbeat and not played at alternative nights, but they loved this tune. It was weird enough where they dug it. This is a neat one. And if you were around doing clubs back then, you may have heard this one. This is Microchip League, MCL. The song is called New York. It's kind of an industrial dance song. MCL, New York, Microchip League. Give this a listen. Treat yourself. This is a fun song. I didn't know the title of it for years. And Without Hats, the safety dance. Just weird enough. Ministry. Al Jorgensen. All this Ministry stuff was huge. This is The Nature of Love. This one, yeah, it got played in alternative nights. But the one that got played on any night, didn't matter what kind of night it was Ministry, Every Day is Halloween. Huge song in clubs in the 80s. It got a little deeper with tracks like this from Ministry. This is Over the Shoulder off of the Twitch album. In fact, every time somebody makes a reference to Twitch, the app that people, or the I don't know, streaming service, I hear Over the Shoulder in my head because it's off the Twitch album. That's how old and weird I am. Stigmata. This is like full blast, like thrasher rock. Ministry did this too. But every album they did was a little different. Some of this is dance stuff, or most of this is more dance stuff. This is more thrasher rock stuff. But Stigmata did really well on alternative club nights. Not my favorite song, but it has to be mentioned because a lot of people really like it. Modern English, I Melt With You. Yeah, this was a staple. And people really liked it. And people still really like it. But I never warmed up to it. I don't know why. It's just never my jam for some reason. New Order. It started with Joy Division, became New Order. Substance 1987. I played the heck out of this record. This is like a greatest hits record. It's got all kinds of great stuff on it. Bizarre Love Triangle was, I think, the new song on this. And then there was also True Faith. There was Perfect Kiss. And Blue Monday. See this record? Kind of looks like an old school floppy disk, doesn't it? It's got holes punched in it. In the UK, this is the biggest selling 12-inch single of all time. And I believe it's by far Blue Monday. And some interesting trivia about this single in the UK. Although it was the best-selling single, every time Factory Records moved one of these, they lost 5 pence because it cost so much to do this custom cutout work on the sleeve. They didn't make any money. In fact, they lost 5p every time they sold one of these things. It's kind of tragic, but yeah. Factory Records, that's an interesting thing to look up if you want to Google Factory Records, find out more about them. Manchester stuff. Yeah. And here is the last great New Order song, in my opinion. It's called Round and Round. This got massive club play. This is a great song. Came out after the rest of the stuff. I think it was like 89 it came out, perhaps. It's a cool music video, too, as well. Nitzareb. Which one is this? This is getting closer. They had one called Join in the Chant that was really good. They had one called Lightning Man, which I know I own, but I can't find it. But the big one was Murderous by Nitzareb. This was huge. More kind of that industrial stuff. Cool stuff. Murderous is a very aggressive song. It's the kind of song that you would slam dance or pogo to. Pet Shop Boys, West End Girls. You know, anything Pet Shop Boys did really well. It's a Sin was huge. The other one that did okay, and I heard it quite a bit, was What Have I Done to Deserve This? Believe it or not, with Dusty Springfield. This got a lot of attention in the clubs for a minute. Power Station. This is the other half of Duran Duran. When Simon and Nick went to go do Arcadia, John Taylor, Roger Taylor, and Andy Taylor, I believe, went with Robert Palmer and maybe Bernard Edwards to do the Power Station EP, or LP. It's got some cool tunes on it. Some Like It Hot is a really cool one, and they did a remake of T-Rex's Bang a Gong on here. Get It On Bang a Gong, that's really hot. Check this out. This is really good. Good. Now, I don't know why, but for some reason, you heard Prince once in a while on alternative nights. And if you went over to somebody's house after clubbing and dug through a record collection, chances are you'd find a copy of either Dirty Mind or Controversy by Prince. This was kind of a punk funk album anyway. And, you know, you didn't hear it a lot, but you heard it sometimes. But what you did hear were songs like these. DSMR got a lot of play, as did Automatic. They're just kind of different sounding songs. They're kind of new wave. not your typical R&B Prince stuff. But he did get attention. And then later on, songs like Get Off got attention. And some of the stuff off of the Graffiti Bridge album got attention. Sign of the Times, the Batman soundtrack, Red Hot Chili Peppers, a staple in 80s alternative clubbing. This was a huge one with Under the Bridge on it. But Higher Ground was really big too. Higher Ground got a lot of attention. The Stevie Wonder remake, which is on the album before this, I think. REM, not my dudes, but boy, they got a lot of attention on 80s alternative nights. I don't know. Pop Song, was it Pop Song 89 or 80s, whatever, Pop Song something. And Losing My Religion, they all got attention. Stand. The Revolting Cocks. I'm pretty confident Al Jorgensen was involved in this, if I remember right. There's a live version of a song called Attack Ships on Fire that was like the song you played at midnight in the club. It was really, really fun. Check out Revolting Cocks, Attack Ships on Fire live. I know it sounds ridiculous, but yeah, that was a big track back in the old days. Theme from S Express. Very breakbeat, very disco, but yeah, it was just weird enough where they dug it. Cool song. And it got attention. Susie and the Banshees. This is Kiss Them For Me, I think. No, this is not that at all. It is Fear of the Unknown. This one got play. Kiss Them For Me got played. The big one was Peekaboo, which was a top 40 crossover song, but very danceable. And it got a lot of attention, and it got a lot of play. So check out Susie and the Banshees. Peekaboo for sure. Smarties, Sesame Street. We're going kind of hardcore techno here. It's a fun song if you don't know it. Check out Smarties with Sesame's Treat. See that? See how they spelled that? Clever, huh? Sample from the Sesame Street theme song in there. The Smiths. Yeah, Morrissey. You guys might know who he is, especially some of you on the West Coast. This track by the Smiths, this particular track, How Soon Is Now, it's a long track. I think it's like over 6 minutes long. But they would play the full version at the club, and people would just lose their minds. Doesn't seem like they would. If you listen to the song, if you've never heard the Smiths' How Soon Is Now, and you listen to it, you're like, how are people dancing to this? But they did. They did. This was a staple back then. Soft Cell's Tainted Love. No surprise there. Pretty weird. Pretty cool. That's a remake too. Soho with Hippie Chick. Did very well. Okay. My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult. This is Sex on Wheels. And it's the Glamour Dyke remix. I think it's the one I like. Yeah, Glamour Dyke remix. It's the one that was featured on the movie Cool World. It's a great song. But the Thrill Kill Cult song that was really hot, I don't have it, on 12-inch of all things. I should probably get a copy of that. It's called 'Cause It's Hot. This is a fantastic song. My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult. 'Cause It's Hot. Wow. Wow. That was a great club track. This one did well too, though. That one. That was my favorite. The Time Lords with Doctor and the TARDIS. This is kind of Gary Glitter's rock and roll. And they took, instead of saying rock and roll, they said Doctor Who. The Time Lords are the KLF. Or vice versa. The KLF are the Time Lords. Same guys, they just changed their name. But this was really hot. Really, really, really hot. What do we have here? Let me put my glasses on. Oh, wow. This was a weird one. But it was popular. Urban Dance Squad, Deeper Shade of Soul. This is a really bizarre track. It's like a down-tempo hip-hop alternative track. I don't even know how to describe it. Kind of like Beat Farmer stuff or whatever. Or The Farm, I think it was. The Farm, that's what it was. Check this one out if you just like weird stuff. Urban Dance Squad with Deeper Shade of Soul. I think the album was called Mental Floss for the Globe, but yeah, this was the only single I believe that they had. Suzanne Vega, Tom's Diner. Absolutely. And you heard this at other clubs too, but this was a cool track. Very, very cool track. If you don't know it, look up. It's was it DNA featuring Suzanne Vega, Tom's Diner. There is a version that's just Suzanne Vega doing Tom's Diner. That's the original, and it's an a cappella of her just singing. But then DNA got a hold of it and put beats behind it, and you had a hit, and a big club hit. Kim Wilde, You Keep Me Hanging On was a top 40 track over here, but Kids in America was a little more underground, and that's the one that you hear once in a while at the club. This says Yazoo on it, but it's actually Yaz. This is Situation. Definitely a staple at the club. The other one, well, this is also Situation. I just have a different copy of it here to show you. And then there was this one, Don't Go. Now, Yaz and Yazoo were the same thing. They were just copyright laws over here in the States. So they had to go from Yazoo to Yaz over here. So some of those are imports are early, and this one is American domestic. So, but yeah, it's a great tune. It was a nice ballad on there too. All I Wanted, I think it's called. And the last one I want to show you, which it gets confusing. This is Yaz and the Plastic Population with The Only Way Is Up. It sounds nothing like the other Yaz. It has no affiliation with the other Yaz, but this was a popular song. I remember people really enjoyed this. Produced by Cold Cut, yeah. So this was, dance stuff, kind of dance R&B stuff, but it was cool. But anyway, 80s alternative, guys. It's a hot mess, and I know it is. And it was probably totally different where you lived. And if there's something that you feel like I should have talked about that I didn't, well, it's probably because I didn't have the record. Or it ended up on the floor because I had too many records to talk about. But let us know what that song is in the comments section. Tell people what you feel like they should know about 80s alternative club music. Again, this is not 80s alternative radio. That was a different story. The club stuff was catering to a lot of people, and it was a really cool, special, eclectic mix. It was a real special time. I was really happy to be involved with it, not only as a club goer, but as a DJ. Tons and tons of fun. So, anyway, there you go. 101 for you. And give you some stuff to listen to. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, down here in the comment section. I'm not going to ask you to ring the bell or subscribe or like or leave a comment, but it'd be really cool if you did. Practice and enjoy.